I encourage violence.
A wondrous use of an action.
That brings us to Scanlan.
Oh, can I bonus inspire myself? Can I?
Because you're Scanlan, I'll say yes. You have such a high opinion of yourself that even you can inspire yourself in this. So yes, why not?
It would help me to acquire some dice to inspire. Okay, and then I'm going to cast Lightning Bolt at him.
Yes!
Okay. Straight line that way?
Straight line that way.
All right. So you don't have to roll to hit, you just roll damage on that.
I didn't even need to inspire.
That's a failure on a saving throw.
Yes!
Straight damage, go ahead and roll 8d6.
You got these?
8d6.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Kill him.
These are 8.
Yes.
Okay.
If you kill,
it spells some other
He's gonna get
classes.
it.
I'm going to take a shit on this
6,
table.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17,
Oh my god.
19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24.
No way.
24 points of lightning damage.
No way.
Kill it, kill it.
How do you want to do this?
Wait, is it the person?
I've never killed
Never killed anything in 2 years!
For the people at home, we live to hear Matt say, how do you want to do this?
I let the player describe their victory. So, as you sing to yourself to bolster your arcane energy, you release the sheer bolt of the how do you want to do this?
The bolt of lightning begins in its tail and works its way up through its spine, slowly but painfully torturing it as it slowly feels the effect coursing through its evil body.
All right, so because of your bardic ability to actually shape sound from an arcane standpoint, a lightning bolt should be an instant flash of arcane energy. You actually cause it to crawl. You control it as it begins to cascade up the torso of this horrible abomination. As it does, you can see the bolt splinter and destroy each suture wound as each of its heads begins to slaw off the rest of the torso until nothing is left but the single head that's screaming into the air as the bolt makes its way up the neck. Its eyes burst out in a blast of energy, and the body falls limp.
Can it have a lightning bolt shaped in an S?
A Scanlan shaped lightning bolt is left burned into the torso of the strange Naga beast.
Well done, Scanlan! Well done!
That brings us to Vax.
Okay, so he's now got his back turned to me. I'm just gonna stick both knives into his guts and says, "No one touches the gnome!" Right into his guts. That's shit. So fuck that. And this one is way better. So that's 27.
27 hits, definitely.
Woo!
9, 18, 24 damage with the second knife. Sneak attack into his ball sack.
How do you want to do this?
I'm gonna stick it in the back of his spider nads and then rip it up his bum and up the back of him and just spill it all at the bottom.
So as it's
I'm right next to him. It might spill on me.
That's alright.
as it's looming over Scanlan, who's on its back, and it's tearing into him and starting to gut it best it can, and he's screaming from beneath. You rush underneath, tumble, bringing your dagger up and slam it right under the bottom of its abdomen.
Yep.
As you do it, looks down towards you, and right before its gaze can meet yours, you yank back with all your might, basically scissoring and jagged, drawing the blade up the back of its body. As you do it, leaps forward. Its now soft torso and belly, left open from the armor plates being shot off, spills a number of its warm innards right onto Scanlan's body and form.
Oh, it went in my mouth!
And then it collapses on top of him. Grog.
Whoa, me? Bah! I would like to run up to its right side and flank it.
Alright, go ahead. You're making your attacks? Go for it. 3 strikes against it.
21. 16 plus 8 hits.
Definitely hits.
And natural 20!
Go for it. First strike?
Kill him, kill him, kill him!
16.
16 damage?
Yes, 21. Thank you.
Alright.
Stay in school, kids.
Yeah, I'll stay on the table.
This is the critical now.
61, 76.
How do you want to do this, Grog?
Oh, you killed him?
Yes!
How do you want to do this, Grog?
I would like to swing through and catch the corner of its mouth, open its mouth wide, and then I'd like to reach in and with my teeth pull its fucking tongue out of its head and start thrashing it side to side.
Alright, so first you rush up with your axe using all of the aggression, you take it and swing it barely really leaving you with a shave. You gash the side of its mouth and draw this giant wound open. As it does, you actually snap and cut through the tendons that clench the jaw, causing it to fall open and slack. Scanlan spills out of its mouth, hitting the ground with a dull thud. As its mouth is now open, it kind of rears back. You shake your head angrily as the froth is gathering at the corners of your mouth. You drop your axe from one hand, grab the jaw, reach in, bite down on its giant meaty tongue. Using your hand at the back of it, you pull and yank, and you feel all the muscle tearing and tensing before eventually it comes free, and it's now dangling about 25, 30 pounds of liquid, very, very wet, black tongue meat. With your third attack, how do you finish it?
I'm gonna King Kong his jaw. I'm gonna take the broken part at the top of his head, just pull it apart.
Yep. Okay, so you drop your axe entirely, the tongue still dangling from your mouth. You reach and put one foot up into the bottom of the jaw. Using your other hands, you push and push. You hear it crack and pull as it tenses and is trying to push down. It has no tension because the jaw was destroyed. You pull back and you hear a sickening snap as the armor plate buckles underneath where the neck joint would be on such a creature. Its eyes kind of roll back for a second, and it begins to slacken. As it does, you reach up with your fist and penetrate the bottom of where its brain would be. With a sickening sound, it goes entirely limp and collapses on the ground.
And that's why you're on the team.
And as it falls, the tongue that's hanging in my mouth, I look to one of the dwarves that's left and I go, who's next?
Keyleth.
Do I have enough speed to get next to Vex there?
Vax, you mean? Yeah, you do.
Is that Vex?
You get there.
All right. Once again, I'm gonna thorn whip this bitch.
All right, go ahead and roll for attack.
26.
That hits, definitely. Go ahead and roll damage.
Thorn whip the bitches.
Thorn whip the bitches. Thorn whip the bitches. 8 points of damage,
Okay.
and I pull him.
How do you want to do this?
Yeah!
The creature's thrashing about with its claws.
So I take my thorn whip and I go whoosh, and I grab him and I see he's still struggling. So I take another one and I go whoosh on the other one and I just go Spider-Man style. I go whoo.
And as you do it, plummets face first into the both into the magma and the slightly still sizzling form left over from the magma that had melted there.
And just for flavor, I take a big gust of air, a big wind burst, and I go whoosh down into the lava pool, encrusting it all.
As you do, it slams down. You hear it scream. Underneath its body begins to quiver. The wind burst hits, and the cool air rushes through the tunnel. All of you guys, your hair and everything is blown back for a second. You have to cover your eyes. And as you look back, the magma has cooled to a solid rock covering surface. That brings us to Scanlan.
That really hurts, Scrub. I'll stand up.
All right.
Jesus. It's better for me to get out of there. Get the king.
Yeah, you might be able to kill him. He's on his last legs, probably.
He's looking pretty rough.
I am
It's
a
true,
tiny boy.
Do it
who can only
anyway. He's at his last legs.
bip him in
I
the
can't
nose.
cure
This is gonna
Grog.
be epic, Scanlan.
I
What do
will
you got?
say that. I can't.
Come
cure
on, quick.
Alright,
This
do
is
it.
I
Magma's
swing
pouring
my
over.
singing dawn blade at him.
All right.
I have a dawn blade. A natural 20.
Oh! We said he could roll a 20. We called it. Who called it? We called it.
So roll the dice.
That's amazing.
He's gone. So that's 8.
You rolled an 8. Times 2, it's
Times
16,
2 is
plus whatever the bonus damage is for the sword.
Critical hit.
Plus 7.
How do you want to do this?
As I draw back the blade, I say, "Oh, you should have stood on your head," and I lop it off.
So, as you say that, the blade itself vibrates with the sound of your voice, like the echoing of the song of Scanlan behind yours, and almost a chorus out of nowhere. The blade shrieks through the air, coming down, slitting across the back of his Achilles tendon. He instinctually falls to one knee, which is kind of the height level for you. As you do, you bring the blade around with a flourish, and take Morgul's head off his shoulders, which spins, tumbles to the ground, and rolls across the floor into the magma. The blackened beard curling back as the rest of his face is melted away by the lava, which is now pouring pretty heavily into this room. That brings us to Percy.
Okay, I'm gonna spend my movement to get nice and firm, sit myself down, pull out the big gun.
Okay, bad
Bad
news.
news.
You
Come on,
can
bad
see
news.
over the wall
Bad
now, the
news.
top of the stalagmite, which stands about 15 feet to the top. If you get to the top, you pull the bad news out. you have a pretty clear shot down towards the entity.
Kill him,
Taking the
Percy.
sharpshooter shot. Natural 20 on the sharp.
Go ahead and roll damage for this one.
This is gonna be so much fun.
Get it, come on. So good.
42 points of damage.
How do you want to do this?
I take the bead and I want to wait till the eye is looking right at me, and then I want to take it right through the eye.
Okay, so as the entity turns around, its head kind of cocked to the side, its tendrils flailing around it, one kind of lifting it up. You can see it begins to reach up to bring a lash down upon the bear that is being clutched into the ground. As its eye streaks around and catches yours, you release, pull back on the trigger. Boom. The impact blows you off the top of the stalagmite. You fall in the air, but in that midsection you keep your vision on as you're plummeting back in this almost moment as time slows, not wanting to lose this moment. You see the bullet insert the head. One of the eyes now goes dark from the crimson impact. The jaw opens slack, with all the teeth exposing, as the back of the head just splatters all across Vax, who is standing behind it. Just
I love it.
The giant hole now, where there's, you can see portions of its lower jaw are still visible, but the entire top of its head is gone. You can see parts of its flesh trying to reach up and reform, and then start falling limp as its form begins to quiver and eventually fall apart. The seams all begin to unravel, and its entire body begins to fall apart into chunks. Eventually, what's left is this elven torso that slinks to its knees, takes a step, takes another step, and then falls onto its back, completely destroyed. Vax, you're up.
All right, dagger. Funk, funk.
Dagger.
But a disadvantage because you're dark, or
I'm
not afraid.
No, you resisted the fear.
Okay. All right. So first one.
You have low
is,
light, so you're fine.
Okay. First one's 26.
Hits.
Second one is 26.
Hits.
23.
23. All right, how do you want to do this?
I'm just going to. I saw where Tiberius pulled the eye out, and that's what I'm aiming at is its eye socket. So I flip it up in the air, and when I catch it, I immediately let go and fill in the blank.
Okay.
Suck it to me.
So, as the creature's flailing about in torturous pain, suddenly the dagger slinks into the empty socket in the front of its face. As it does, its body tenses up and kind of reaches out against the force of your arcane hand. You actually have to kind of like focus to keep it in place as its final death throes. All of its tension, and then falls limp within your grasp. You now have this limp creature at your disposal.
Oh, I'm gonna bring him to the boat.
Vex, you're up.
Okay, I'm gonna shoot an arrow at him, Hail of Thorns, as a level 3.
Okay.
23.
23 hits. Gonna roll damage with your hunter's mark.
Okay. 20 points of damage.
20 points of damage.
Take it.
All right. You want to do this?
I wanna. Oh God. How do I want to do this?
You want to do it crying, I know that
I
much.
do. I'm crying. I want to shoot him. Is it possible to shoot him right where the horn meets his head and knock it off of him?
No.
All right, then I shoot him straight in the eyeball.
All right, so as it's kind of
Middle of the
Kavarn's looking
people.
around, kind of frantic at this point, realizing that this whole swarm of individuals are pouring into the temple. That looking around, you can sense that it's lost control of the elder brain. It starts just getting extremely manic and
Vox Machina! Vox Machina!
another ray of energy. It glances up at you just in time for you to release that final arrow. It strikes down, going right into the pupil. The light blue color immediately bursts into an angry red as the eye closes over, trying to contain the impact. The blood begins to pour out of the front of the eye as the arrow, you can see, pierce out the back side and is jutting about 6 inches out the back of the beholder. And Kavarn slowly sinks a feet and just slams onto the ground.
Fuck you, meatball!
That is how it's done.
Tiberius.
How many stocks does it have left?
It has probably 9.
I'll shoot a glacial blast at him.
All right.
Just concentrated. I'll spike it right before it hits him and jam it in his fucking eye. That is 40. So
40, so half that 20 damage. How do you want to do this?
What? What just happened?
He's gonna do
Killing
it.
him again. But then
really?
3 more forms to
Get
go.
it.
2 of 10 times.
2 of 10 times. Great.
What do you do with your glacial blast?
I'll just, I mean, like I said, right before I do it, I'll shape it into an ice spike and right through the eye.
Okay. So you take your arcane form, and you can see where the impact of the arrow left behind from Vex is already still there, and the eye's kind of slightly concave as the wound is open. You take glacial blast into one giant, jagged piece of ice, and you thrust it forward with all of your arcane might. It hits and sinks into the eye, and as it streaks to the inside, it bursts from the interior. You see ice shards piercing it from the inside out, as the form kind of lands on the ground there, as ice begins to slowly form and crackle around its outside. Percy, you're up.
All right, I'm taking out the pepper box. I'm going to turn towards it and just unload.
All right, go for it.
22.
Yes.
You only get 2 attacks.
I'm using my bonus action.
Oh, you mean you're using your action surge?
I'm using my action
Okay,
surge.
so you get 4 attacks.
25 points of damage and 1 point of fire damage.
Yeah.
How you want to do this?
The closer.
Western style, I'm just going to
Fan the fucking hammer.
fan the hammer. I'm going
Alright.
to just tear that wing off.
So, with each successive blast, even the ones that don't immediately impact, the first blast hits and explodes across its shoulder joint as you see the rest of the flesh that Tiberius had already weakened gets severed entirely, the wing being flung off the side of the ship and disappearing in the wind beneath. As it rears back in pain, the second one hits its side, the third one strikes it on the other wing, and as it rears back in pain, its mouth open to the sky in this screeching kind of death rattle, the final blast hits it under the chin, leaving a gaping hole under its neck as it steps back and then tumbles off the edge of the ship.